I will have the agenda. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Our 7 o'clock meeting. Madam President, we are ready to call to order. Gloria, I know you're here. Ms. Gonzalez, are you here? You're muted, Gloria.
Try this again. Call to
Yes.
order. Welcome to the community members joining us via Zoom. This meeting of the North Brunswick Board of Education is being held virtually via Zoom in order to practice social distancing. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via YouTube. The link for the call number via Zoom is available on our website. Any votes required during the meeting will be done via roll call for the good of the order. Please rise now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Brockman.
Present.
Mr. Brooks.
He's here. I saw Mr. Brooks.
I did see him. We'll come back. Mr. Duran Harris.
Here.
Miss James.
He's here.
Here.
We got to hear. Okay.
Okay, very good. Miss Keefe. Here. Mr. Liguori.
Here.
Miss Toth.
Here.
Miss Gonzalez.
Yeah, here.
Mr. Brooks.
Here.
Perfect. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have a notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021 in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, Old Georges Road, North Brunswick. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the Clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Dr. Sikowski, I believe this evening we are kicking off with a presentation.
Yes. We have a few presentations tonight, none more important or exciting than our football presentation. With that, I want to introduce our coach, Coach Michael Seipot, our head coach, who took over the program a few years ago and took the program and rebranded it into a consistent winner, not because of the record, and the record's outstanding, but because he's developed such nice young men, prepared them for life and games beyond our high school, well into their tertiary experiences. And he has another great group of all division recognized athletes. So with that, without further ado, Coach Seipot.
I'm here.
Yes, you are on, and you see the list on your screen. All division players. I saw most of them joining us, so I'm very proud that they're able to join you tonight, so you could share a little bit about each of them.
I just want to thank Dr. Z and the board for everyone here for having us. We're honored to myself and the 7 players to be here. It was definitely an interesting year. I don't want to bore you with stats for each guy, but I do think it's important that I go through each guy and just kind of highlight why they're all conference and all respectively deserving. So they had an outstanding year. Losing two other guys that are on this list that are seniors that were outstanding for us, but having everyone back. So we have a young group. And for a lot of people that thought that this was a rebuilding year for us, for the All-Stars that we did lose in 19, we come out with a 7-1 record and, division champs back to back for the first time in school history. And I think it just goes to show the players' commitment that they put in, and they really didn't care what the paper said or what people thought. They just came to practice and did their job. And this is definitely one of the more enjoyable, as successful as we've been the last 4 years. This has been one of the most enjoyable groups to coach, just because they had that work ethic that, they really didn't care what other people thought or what they said and who the opponent was. They just did their job. And it was definitely a team, a great team. And myself and the staff can certainly say that about this group, how special they really were. I'm just going to kind of go in order here from top to bottom, starting with our quarterback, Frankie Garbolino. Frankie's everything you really want in a leader. He's the first one on the field. He's the last one off. And he makes other guys around him better. And he's only a sophomore. So, he's definitely got it. He's got that it factor where, he, kind of brings along the younger guys and even the older guys. He had a record-setting year. He threw 17 touchdown passes, which was a record for North Brunswick. He finished with 1,701 yards, which was a season record, 58% completion percentage. He's currently fourth all-time in touchdown passes and yards thrown, which got him the All-BCC conference. He was the first-team Middlesex offense. And he was also the player of the year for Middlesex offense and the player of the year for the Big Central Conference, which is, as a sophomore, that's all those accolades are outstanding. The best part, which you won't read in the paper, is that he has a 4.5 GPA. So he's definitely every bit of a student athlete, which, we really strive for. And Frankie, certainly has a lot of, accolades for the future. And, we're glad we have him for 2 more years. So that's Frankie Garbolino. Marquise Perry. Was selected as a captain. He's only the 4th captain in the history of the school that was a junior. Marquise is definitely a leader that, again, all the younger guys and even the older guys listen to him on the field. Marquise kind of does it all. He's a receiver. He's a free safety. He's our punter. He's a returner, and he's good at all of them, actually. So, and he's only going to get better. Marquise had close to 500 yards receiving this year with 6 touchdowns. He had 2 return touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions, one for an 100-yard interception return against Passaic, which was very exciting. He earned first-team Middlesex offense and all BCC conference. Marquise is also a 3-year varsity player for us. If you knew the kid and you've seen him, he's a every bit of an athlete. He's a 3-sport guy, but he's an even better kid. And again, he's a leader. He was a great leader for us, and we have him for another year. Jaden Myers. Jaden Myers is another 3-year varsity guy for us. He's only a junior, so again, we have him for another year. Jaden led the team in receiving with 37 receptions and 476 yards receiving. He had 629 all-purpose yards. He had an interception on defense. He's currently 11th all-time in interceptions. He's 6th all-time in receptions, and he's 11th all-time right now with receiving yards. I will say I forgot about Marquise. Marquise is 4th all-time right now in receiving yards and receptions. So these guys' names are going to be, forever in the North Brunswick record books, and they still got another year. Jaden finished 2nd team all offense in Middlesex. He was finished 2nd team all Group 5 offense and also the all BCC. Jaden's another kid that, with all that, the sports that he does and how great he is on the field, Jaden is also a 4.0 student in the classroom. Omar is an interesting story. Omar Shahabedin, our big D tackle. 2 years ago, Omar actually broke both of his legs, and he couldn't walk for close to 6, 7 months. And he rehabbed his whole junior year, got back into it, and started his senior year. And he had a heck of a year. Omar finished third on the team in tackles. He led the team in sacks. He finished the Super 100 New Jersey selection. And I know he hasn't posted this, but the exciting news is that he's taking his football and studies to Westminster College to play college football in the PAC conference. So very exciting news for Omar and his future. Omar finished in an all BC selection, first team Middlesex defense, and he was a third team defense all group 5. So lots of luck to Omar, going forward into the college world. Favion Johnson started all 8 games for us on the offensive line. He's as tough and explosive as a defensive player as you'll see. Favion's a junior, so we're lucky to have him back for another year. Favion led the team with 10 tackles for loss, combined with like 2.5, 3 sacks. Favion was an all BCC and all Middlesex honorable mention player for us. He's as tough and strong as a kid as you're going to see on the field, and he's an exciting player to watch. Mr. Tynes, Jared Tynes, a lot like Favion. I mean, he's an exciting player to watch, and I think when all said and done, his name's going to be big in the state for defense and just as an all-around player. He finished as a defensive end. He had 50 tackles, 3 sacks, 7 TFLs, and just a tear on the defensive line. He finished as an all BCC selection, second team all Middlesex defense, and was voted as the breakout player of the year for the entire conference. And Jared's only a sophomore, and he's as big as he gets. He's all bit of 6'2", 215 pounds. And last but certainly not least, my buddy Jaquil Boyd. Jaquil was a 2-year starter. He was our captain. As much as we're going to miss he had 3 rushing touchdowns for us this year. He had some big runs for us in some big games. He was also our leading tackler on the team with 74 tackles and 5 TFLs. The thing that we're going to miss the most with Jaquil was his leadership, calling the defense from the sideline, lining up the defense, just being a guy that the young guys look towards. And I think that kind of gets overlooked in the paper, that people miss what I'm talking about Jaquil now, just what his efforts were during practice and off the field to the younger guys. I think that a lot of guys leaned on him, and that's something that really gets overlooked, but certainly not from me and my staff. He's going to be missed sorely as a leader, and we got to find a guy to kind of take his spot. But he earned all BCC and first team Middlesex defense, and well-deserving. And hopefully the guy next to him, Tamir, who's only a sophomore, learns from him, because he's got big shoes to fill. So those are my 7 guys. I don't want to bore you, but these guys are a hell of a players, and I hope that we can all come to the games next year and watch these guys play, because they're very exciting.
Coach, I didn't miss many games this year, and you mind if I repeat what you shared with me privately about this group? You said I was so surprised that I thought it was a rebuilding year and you're doing so well. And you said the greatest thing about this group was they're nicer young men. As great as players they are, they're nicer young men, and you enjoy being around them. So I love hearing that. And so I think that speaks volumes. I want to congratulate all of the 7 for an outstanding year, not only achieving on the field, but comporting themselves to represent their families, their school, and themselves. And so as a Raider, you did a great job. And through it all, we did not miss any of our protocols through this COVID season. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that when other teams canceled, you went down to Elizabeth, in a place that nobody wants to go to. Your coach took you down to Elizabeth. I thought, oh my goodness. And you not only sent a message, you sent a 48-7 message. They're still talking about in Union County. I must have received 25 phone calls after that, because I grew up very close to that area. Nobody goes to Elizabeth on the road and does what you young men did. So Feel proud. Thank you. Did any of you want to say anything about Coach, the team? The mic is yours. I know you're all shy. You let your stats do your talking, but
Listen, their biggest challenge is coming up next week. I know for Frankie and Jaden, because they're doing Read Across America at Judd, and they're going to have to read a Dr. Seuss book to the elementary kids. So that might be their biggest challenge.
I love it.
that's great that we got them reading that. I can't wait to see the recording, because don't they have to record it?
If not, I'll record it because I want
Okay.
it.
Any of the players? I'm going to give you a last chance. Don't be shy.
I appreciate all the stuff you guys did for us to have a season and having us on today to congratulate us. We all appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Frankie. How about one of our seniors that we're losing? Omar?
Yeah, I just want to thank Coach and all my other coaches for everything. And, it means a lot. Thank you.
Well, thanks for your leadership. It begins with senior leadership, but it also continues with the talent we have through our junior and sophomore class. So thank you, gentlemen. Ms. Gonzalez, our board president, to memorialize your awards, because I don't know if you knew, Jared's father was an outstanding all-conference, all-state player that I happen to be lucky enough to coach in basketball at Bloomfield High School. And I know Jared's probably saying, that's not true. Well, we want to memorialize someday, Jared, when you tell your children of the great success. So we put this in our minutes. It's memorialized. So Ms. Gonzalez, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, sir. And all of you will be receiving a copy of this for your history book. Be it resolved by the Board of Education that the following resolution be approved. Whereas the Board of Education recognizes the efforts of our student athletes to perform at their highest level of interscholastic competition, it also recognizes the accomplishment of exceptional achievement. And whereas through leadership of their coaches and with a firm determination to be diligent while preserving excellence, they stand among their peers and represent the North Brunswick Township High School and themselves in an exemplary manner. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this public acclaim be given to Frankie Garbolino, Marquise Perry, Jaden Myers, Omar Sheha-Belden, Fabian Johnson, Jared Tynes, and Jaquil Boyd for their selection to the Greater Middlesex Conference All-Division football team. Be it further resolved that Frankie Garbolino, Marquise Perry, Jaden Myers, Omar Sheha-Belden, Fabian Johnson, and Jared Tynes, and Jaquil Boyd shall be recognized appropriately, and that a copy of this resolution be spread in the permanent minutes of this board. Congratulations, gentlemen. Great job.
Thank you. Great job.
Yeah.
Gentlemen and Coach, you don't have to stay on, but I do want to give you a preview of our board agenda. We are going to have an audit report publicly done. So you may not want to miss that, or if you don't want to fall asleep, you may want to take off, and we won't feel insulted. We're just proud of you. Thank you for all that you do. Continued success. Stay well. Stay safe. Coach Sipod, I know you always say to me, it's not just you. Thank your team, your coaching team, for a season, another great season. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, everyone. We appreciate it. We really do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, it was a great presentation by our coach. So typically I want to share with the community, many years ago, we started having 2 board meetings a month. One of the board meetings was our where we went through, we built the agenda. We would discuss the agenda. We would talk about it. We call it a conference meeting. And with COVID, we're not doing the conference meeting. However, we would go to each school. And this month was the designated for the Linwood school. And Mr. Shorter, our new Linwood principal, he's not new to the district, but he's the new Linwood principal. He wanted to do a presentation, and I said, I think the community would love it. It's a new 5th and 6th grade school. Although we built a new middle school, the idea was an organizational redesign. We want to prepare our 5th and 6th graders in a content specialty learning environment. We wanted to make sure that we had our children that weren't going from our K-5s into a 6, 7, 8. I had the most phone calls with parents were most nervous about sending children leaving elementary into that middle school environment. Now with our K-4 designations and our 5-6 school redesigned, reorganized with the curriculum, with our content specialty, we needed a leader to help not only be that curriculum instructional leader, but be a welcoming presence, a person that is admired by all students, by his colleagues. And it was an easy selection by the board and an easy recommendation by me, the superintendent. Our newest principal, someone that's really done a great job, is doing a great job. So we're glad to have you, Mr. Shorter, JD Shorter, for a presentation. Mr. Shorter, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Z.
I'm going to make you, I don't do this lightly, I'm going to make you a co-host so you could share the screen, Mr. Shorter. Use it wisely now.
Thank you, Dr. Z. Thank you, Dr. Z. So first I want to thank Dr. Z. I want to thank Ms. Rumbo. I want to thank Ms. Karaoke for everything that they've helped me with. It's just been tremendous. This has been quite a challenge these last 6 months, but with their support, it has truly been awesome. Board members, I want to thank you all because, again, without your support and getting me in this position and supporting me and all of my teachers and all of the staff besides the teachers, it just it's been a lot, but we have gotten through it. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to quickly go through my presentation. Okay. And again, I know that you guys have a long night, so I will try to be as brief as I can, but I wanted to highlight a couple things that we've been doing at Linwood School. And it has been, even though it's been an up and down year with the COVID, it has been a great year at Linwood. So I guess it's still loading here.
Yeah, we don't see anything.
Yeah, I guess it's still loading. There it is.
There we go. You got to feed the squirrels, get that power going. Come on.
Yeah, here we go. So can everyone see it? Thumbs up if you yes. All right, excellent. Very good. So this is the first slide. I just love this picture, even though the snow is a lot right now. That just looks awesome just to see the snow leading up to the building. So I took it the other morning and it was just a great shot that I wanted to show you. So our school's motto is being committed to excellence. So every day we talk to our students about striving for excellence, exhibiting excellence, and expecting excellence in everything that you do. So it's something that we really talk about a lot. Our school slogan has excellence in it. And I think it was a teacher, Ms. Cunningham and Ms. Schilder kind of came up with this slogan, and I absolutely love it. And we use it every single day. It's we see excellence in you. And that C stands for strive, exhibit, and expect. So it's something that we continue to talk about. And it's awesome when you talk to a kid in the hallway and he's able to say, we see excellence in you, back to me. So it's just awesome. And it's something that we were building on because excellence, I think, is very, very important for our students to strive for. So this is our main office staff and our admin. So again, without them, you know, in these last 6 months, we would not have been anything. But again, just our main office staff is Janine Karcheski, Maria Takawana Garcia. They've been awesome just to supporting us everywhere. We have a Spanish-speaking person now that can handle all the calls from the parents who come and only speak Spanish because we want to be welcoming to everyone. So it's been awesome. And I thank Dr. Z. He was very instrumental on giving me that Spanish-speaking person. So it's worked out, and I'm so happy.
You wouldn't let me out of the headlock, so finally I had to say yes.
But it was so important. And again, I thank you. Thank you. So in the Lionhouse Center, we have Ann Kingsley and Nicole Jakunski. Those are familiar names. Also Ed Kowalski and Christine Schilder. They've been in the district for a while, but we've kind of come together from different parts of the district. And it's been just amazing to have my team together. Julie Francis has been in the district for a long time. She's been at Linwood for a long time, but she's really helped our new secretaries kind of get up to speed. So I'm so very thankful of her. And again, for both schools, my school and the middle school, Kate Dwyer, Janine Lanphier, and Dr. Alexis Rich have been just tremendous in their roles as supervisors. So one thing that I am very proud of is in August, our administrative team sat down and we wanted to find a way to connect with our students every day. So we came up with something that we call the Linwood Line Call morning announcements. So every day we do live morning announcements. And some of the things that I really, really like about it is that we're able to highlight certain things. So one thing that we do every day is we highlight birthday shout outs. And you cannot believe the number of calls that I've gotten from parents who've just said, you know what, you have touched my son, you have touched my daughter, because they called me at work and said, hey, you gotta watch the line call today. You gotta listen to the phone because they're gonna say my name. So it's just something that we've done every day since the first day of school. And it has been absolutely awesome. Every day we highlight maybe some procedures. Right here, you see arrival. We always talk about just different things about our building that kids need to know. We do a lot of spirit days that you'll see throughout the presentation. And the biggest thing that I really, really love is our Lion Excellence Award. So every day we highlight 2 5th graders and 2 6th graders on something that they've done either that day or that week or that month that shows excellence. And it's just been awesome. We kind of send that home to parents so that they know that their kid was on. So it's just been amazing. So that's something that we do every single day, and I'm super proud of. These are some of the spirit days that we kind of put in place, because even though we have a large number of kids who are remote, we wanted to kind of get them involved. And you'll see the pictures in a couple of minutes as we go through the presentation. So our counselors have been absolutely amazing. They have really worked through this difficult time, because I'm sure you guys are aware, we have students that have a lot of needs and issues. So our counselors have been amazing connecting with them. They also do a great job working with our teachers, working with us, the admin. And the biggest piece was just the scheduling. Because remember, our kids are coming from 4th and 5th grade up to a 5-6 building. So they were just tremendous in getting the scheduling, putting the classes. So I'm just so very, very thankful to have Jill Nemeth and Rob Coffey as our counselors. Here is one of the pictures from our blue and white day. So you'll see everyone kind of got into it. We had kids send pictures into a Google form, and we were able to post them on the line call. And the kids just loved seeing themselves in the line call. All right, next, Blue House Center. Both house centers did a great job of just communicating with parents. We had to take a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, just with with parents coming into a new building, into a new, middle school type arena, and they just were kind of unsure, but both house centers did an amazing job just communicating, talking to them, and really walking them through the process. We have another picture, which is also just fun to see all the kids just really get into it. So the picture before was 5th grade. This is the 6th grade. All right. Lion House Center, that is the 5th grade. They also did a phenomenal job just communicating with parents daily, and just letting them know what their kids are going to expect. Also talking to our staff. We have lots of grade level meetings, lots of department meetings and faculty meetings where we're able to communicate what's going on. The last piece is technology. We were able to get all of our kids Chromebooks and chargers and hotspots from the summertime, but it's been a continual thing where kids have issues with their technology. So we have a couple protocols in place where if you have an issue, you call the school, we'll get you to your house center, they'll put you on the list. Our 2 tech people will work on it and we'll get it back to you. So that's an ongoing process that both house centers have been amazing with. More pictures here. Just love to see the face. Okay. Our language, arts, and social studies department. So Kate Dwyer is a supervisor. So I know language arts has worked tremendously hard with the mini lessons and strategy groups and using technology like Pear Deck. That's really interactive with the kids because, again, even though we are a large number are home, we still want them to be involved with the classroom just as the kids who are in person. So they did an amazing job with that. Our social studies, they're working on the civics and citizenship lessons, and they're using programs like Newzella to really help to foster reading at the kids' level. So it's just amazing. As always, data-informed instruction is very important to us. So we use our Lincoln assessments, we're using our IRAs, just making sure we know what levels kids are and helping to help them grow in their reading and in their writing. One thing I love that the Language Arts Department did was a Love for Lit decorating contest. And you'll see 2 pictures there on the side of kids had to read a book that they wanted to and then create something from it. So you'll see someone did a Dr. Seuss, someone did a book, I believe it's on computer. So it was just awesome to see really kids who either in person or remote create things to represent what they've read. All right, another picture here, which is awesome. And then you'll see some staff members. So even the staff got involved, which was excellent. So this is our math and science. Our math and science supervisor is Janine Lanfear. So again, for science and math, again, she had 14 new math and science specialists into the building. So she did a great job of helping them to meet. I know they are a participant in the Overdeck Car Grant, and they are going to be featured in an upcoming article. Again, they just really worked hard to get our kids where they need to be and help them to excel. I know they really work with a lot of rigorous standards. So it's really helping our kids to be the best that they can be and continue to grow as they move through 5th and 6th grade and on to the middle school. All right, this was an amazing day. This was our Wear Orange for Unity Day. So again, kids really came out, whether they were in person or remote, and put pictures in the Google form, and we were able to show it, and the kids really had a good time. So some more pictures there. So this is our special ed slide. Our special ed supervisor is Alexis Rich. And again, it has been challenging in the COVID times with special ed, but flexibility is the biggest thing that I know she has driven through our building, where we really have a range of programs that we're able to offer kids who are in person and also who are remote. You'll see the supports there. So we have some social skills supports, multi-sensory supports, and just different ways that we're able to kind of help kids. We've really had to be flexible and just do what we can do and do it the best way we can in this tough time, and hoping that, again, we'll have everyone come back very soon and be able to get back to what we do, helping students. All right, some more orange pictures there. See some awesome faces, some smiles. All right. So our ESL is supervised by Dr. Kane Ellis. So she did an amazing job with our 2 ESL teachers. We have Miss Mensa, who I believe was at Parsons, and also Miss Way, who has been with Linwood for a while. So Miss Mensa works with the 5th grade, and they really worked hard on a human rights campaign this year. It's kind of really helping them also to learn English, but also learn about, different rights that we have as humans. The 6th grade worked with Miss Way on a Words of Respect campaign. So it's really helping to develop the students' vocabulary, but also give them some fun to work on. A great thing that they did maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago was a virtual ESL parent night, which I attended, and it was awesome. And we had quite a few parents join. And what we really did was just kind of talk about what we have at Linwood to offer them, really talk to them about the portal, show them how the report cards work, and just really help them to be able to help their student now that they're in an upper elementary school. All right, some more orange. All right, very exciting. Our PE and health classes. So with the change where, again, we had the middle school and we had Linwood, everyone except for one PE teacher went on to the middle school. So Jocelyn Perez was the only returning PE teacher, health teacher that we had at Linwood. So thanks to Dr. Z and thanks to Amy Rumbo, we were able to hire 4 new PE teachers. And again, it has been amazing getting this new life into our building. I call them the Fab Five because a lot of them just finished college, or he maybe has 1 year under their belt, but it's just been amazing, the new things and the new blood that they brought to our PE department. So if you see below, we started yoga, we do meditation, we do breathing exercises. They do, and again, I've kind of walked in and had to walk out because they do this high intensity workout that is just ridiculous, but the kids are really getting into it. And it's just so exciting just to see different things at our 5 and 6 level. Health is continuing with 5th and 6th grade, where we talk about alcohol, tobacco, family living, nutrition, and hygiene. But I'm just so excited at what these new teachers, along with Jocelyn Perez, has done in our building to really take our PE program to another level.
Mr. Shorter, I just want to say, I was speaking to Mr. Lepsky, who is the athletic director at Linwood, and he announced to me that he's going to be working with you because the 6th grade programs throughout the county are now developing a league. So not only will you have your intramural league, we'll have a chance to do some interscholastic competitions with our 5th and 6th graders. So wow. I was excited. I talked to Mr. Lepsky and, of course, Mr. Solover to meet with you to get it going. Now, of course, it's COVID, so they're not going to start it this year, but they're planning and they're talking about it. So more to come on that. So more to add to that athlete of the week and all the great intensity with the Fab Five.
Excellent. That's good. And again, the Fab Five will be very excited. I know they've just talked about what they can do, and we talked about intramurals, and I told them to wait. We're hoping to get it approved, but that's excellent to hear. They will be super excited about that.
My apologies to the Michigan Fab Five.
Now I've got a good Fab Five. I got a good Fab Five. So these are pictures from our superhero day that we did. And again, kids in person and remote really got involved and sent in pictures, which was awesome. Okay, our art department. So we have Miss Brown, who's been with us, I think, for a year or two. And then we have a new teacher, Miss Mary Pasalacqua. She just started with us. And just what they have been doing in this, this tough COVID time has been amazing. I know I have gone in to observe them, and just to see kids on a screen drawing like they're actually in the classroom, the engagement is super high. And it's just been amazing. So they've done a great job with Art 5 and 6 and World Art. And we are excited to say that on March 12th, we're going to have our first virtual art show. So hopefully we'll be getting some letters out soon about that, but it's something that they're working to get the kids to just draw more and want to present it to others. So you can see on the screen, we have a couple items that they have been producing. So we're just super, super excited about our Linwood Art Show and know that our community is really going to love what the kids are doing. More superheroes. So this is our staff. So again, I was just happy also because we had two buildings. We had the remaining 6th grade at Linwood, and then we had the new 5th grade teachers that came from all 4 of the buildings. So they've come together, and it's just amazing. I'm so happy that we've come together, and we are a family. We are a family. All right, our Spanish. So there was a little change because in the past, Spanish has been a full year course for a lot of the kids. And with our 5th grade coming up, they kind of had it a little bit different at the elementary school. So our Spanish teacher they've been really working hard to deal with the transition of what kids are used to before and now what's going on at Linwood. So it's been something that they're working through because now we only have Spanish. In the past at Linwood Middle School, we had Spanish, we had French, we had Italian, but now we only have Spanish. So our teachers are working really hard to get our kids where they need to be, especially our 6th graders, because next year they'll be moving on to the middle school. But they're doing a phenomenal job. In March, we're going to have a Women's History Month featuring life and legacy of famous Hispanic women. So we're very excited about what our Spanish department is doing with our kids. All right, more superhero pictures. Okay. Our technology classes. So this is an actual picture in Mr. Linehan's class that I took the other day. So Mr. Linehan and Lynn McMillan. Lynn McMillan should be a familiar name. She was at Linwood before, and I believe she went to Parsons, but now we were able to have her come back to Linwood. They are doing a phenomenal job with our technology classes. So here we're listing out the classes that we are offering right now. But we were in a meeting on yesterday with Janet and a couple other folks from the department and Jeanette and Tino, where we're really beefing up our technology classes for next year. And I know Janet is super excited. I am just over the top because I know that when we put these programs out, I know we talk a lot about stealing our kids back because these charter schools kind of borrowed them I'll just say for a small period of time, but we're going to get these kids back because the offerings that we're planning on is having next year is just going to be amazing. I know they have to be approved, so maybe I'm talking a little bit too soon. I'm sorry, Janet, but I'm just super excited because it's things that our kids, some of them know already. So we're really helping to push them up to the next level. And then some of our kids who are not as technology savvy, there'll be a place for them to start so they can start on their journey to be just amazing students who are familiar with technology and are able to, go out there in the real world and do what they need to do to be the best coders that they can be.
Mr. Shorter, don't forget, this is your chance, million of viewers, to plug your coding night tomorrow.
It's coming, Dr. Z.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. So we had another holiday spirit day. And it was around our December winter break. And again, the kids just really showed out. I even had a little thing on I wore. I'm surprised I didn't put it in here. I had an entire green jacket and pants suit so that I really enjoy wearing, but I'm surprised they didn't put that in there. Maybe they didn't want to embarrass me, which I appreciate. So our specialized technology classes. So we have a new librarian. Her name is Meredith Butts. And we have two teachers from the elementary school, Angela Singerline and Kelly McGurl, Danielle Davis, who's actually at the middle school, who helps us out, and Matthew Fleck, who's new hire. They are really teaching these three classes that we kind of just started this year at Linwood. And again, we're also beefing up next year. But it's research skills, engineering challenge, and computational thinking. So these are classes that our sixth grade students have an opportunity to take. And again, I know engineering challenge was a hot one that a lot of kids really wanted to get into. And we're excited that next year we're going to beef it up. And it's going to be something that we can get all sixth grade kids in. Because as I like to say, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. If you don't have an engineer in your family or you haven't seen engineering anywhere, you maybe think it's not for you. I'm not an engineer, but my son, thank God, became an engineer because he took a class in middle school. So it's something that I'm really big on that I think all of our students need to get a taste of because, again, it could be the door to open up their future into engineering. So we're really excited about that. All right, one more picture. And then we'll talk about it. All right, I am super excited. Lynn McMillan and Kevin Linehan has worked really, really hard to put together a virtual Linwood student coding project showcase. So tomorrow at 7 p.m., there's going to be a link on our homepage that will bring you to our coding showcase. And it's amazing what these fifth and sixth graders can do with computers. It's just so much further than I ever thought that I could do at that age. It's just amazing. So again, we want to make sure that these kids are fed. And if they're hungry for it, we want to give them all that they can take in so that they can learn and grow. But tomorrow should be amazing. I've seen a tiny bit of what our kids can do. And it's just amazing that at this young age of 9 and 10 and 11 that they're able to do these things. So again, if you have some time tomorrow, please stop in. It will not be long. We're going to actually have the kids talk a little bit about what they did in coding. And I think it's always excellent to hear from a kid what they've done because that means they've mastered. So I'm super excited. Hopefully you can make it. Thank you, Dr. Z, for reminding me. So some more pictures and we're almost done here. So our music class. So we kind of were able to keep one teacher. Her name is Blair Cunningham. She stayed with us, but we were able to get Mr. Kumar from an elementary school. Liam McGarry is a new hire. Jason Allen we took from another school, and we've built another amazing department. In a minute, I'm going to show you a video of something that they've done. But again, we've had to deal with just the virtual aspect of everything. So it's not the way we want it, because we're not able to have all of our kids in the classroom at one time with things like jazz band and the orchestra, but we're working through the challenges that we have to. Over here on the side is a picture of Mr. Komar in a class that I took today. And again, unfortunately, because of spacing, because staying 6 feet, we aren't able to have a large class, but that's him still working with his group and practicing their instruments. There's only a couple of kids in the class, but it's just what we need to do in this tough time. But Mr. Allen is our new chorus teacher, and we're going to put out a video probably in a couple weeks. I was actually in this class today, and he was doing a thing where the kids who are remote, they're able to sing their parts and record it. And then he's able to take all of the recordings and put it together to hear all the kids sing at one time. It is absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited about that. I do want to show you one little thing here. If I can get this working. This is from Mr. Komar and the band. Let's see if we can get this going. Okay.
We couldn't hear it, JD, but it was a good montage.
Oh, you couldn't hear it, Dr. Z?
No.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That's odd. Okay, but again, you could see the montage. What he did was he took kids all home and put all of the music together in files and put it together, and it was amazing. So I apologize. I'm surprised you couldn't hear it. I apologize. All right, so again, this is another Spirit Day we had, which we called Showing Responsibility Day, where we wanted kids to show that they were doing responsible things. So you'll see kids, taking out trash, doing laundry. So it was a fun day that kids were able to show that they're doing responsibility. So it was good. So the last couple things that we'll talk about here is our yearbook club and a robotics, student council, chess club, and math Olympia. This is something that we all do virtually. So kids are getting on after their school day. And I'm just so thankful to our advisors. So for yearbook, it's going to be our first yearbook that we're doing. So we're so excited. We're going to take a lot of the pictures that we had from our Spirit Days. Also, we're having our picture day next week. So we're going to get it together and have our first official yearbook as Linwood School. So we're super excited about that. Mr. Linehan does a great job with robotics. Student councils run by Angela Singerline and Brian Sandwall. They do an amazing job. We have actually 44 class representatives who do great things, do great work, and they're really teaching the kids about government. Chess clubs run by Maria Russo. They meet and they do some great things with chess and math Olympia. Again, we're doing practicing, we're in competition, so it's just excellent. And it's just things that kids can do outside of the school day to get them involved in Linwood School. All right, it's the sixth graders showing responsibility. I see we're peeling some carrots and washing some dishes. Last couple of things here. Parent academies, we know is very important. So we have done, I guess two, you want to call it, but one has had 3 parts. One was about cyberbullying, which is very important with us all being home and kids being on the computer more. Cyberbullying topic was excellent. Christine Schilder and Nicole Jakunski did an amazing job. And the last one we did was our social emotional learning. It was a parent's guide, and it had 3 series, and Christine Schilder and Meg Keegan did an amazing job. And it's just something that's on our website. You can go to it, you can see it. And it's just really good information for parents dealing with kids who are home regarding social and emotional learning. So that's all I have. I appreciate the time that you guys gave me. What's funny is last year when I got this job, I put it in my calendar that February was Linwood's month. So when February came, I talked to Janet. I said, what should I do? And then I kind of realized that none of the other schools did this. But I still wanted to do something because I'm just so proud of my administrative team, so proud of my staff, so proud of my students. So hope I didn't take too much of your time. I know you guys have a busy night.
Oh, listen, JD,
Thank
now
you.
you just made the order. He has 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So thanks for cutting his time down. If you got to take away your rights,
Yes.
if you could clear that screen for me.
Yeah, let me do this here.
I just want to say on behalf of the board, our staff, our educational community, the Linwood community, you did a great job representing so much in such a short time, even though it seemed like it was a lot. I know you can speak the rest of the night and through the next morning about all the great things going on and during a tough time. So we kidded, we were, teasing each other that I asked you to become principal during a COVID, so you didn't only become your first principalship. It had to be done during a pandemic. Yeah. And you know what? I can't think of a better person that would want leading our school than you during a pandemic. So thank you for your leadership and getting this year off, staying positive, staying a great, and staying that guided influence that we need and that passion. All I heard, and then board members, please, the floor is open to you, but all I heard was, I was in this class, I was in that class. You mean you don't stay in your office? Thank you.
It's boring in my office. It's boring there.
Thank you, Mr. Shorter. I'll open it up for the board members for our principal. Well, I think you covered everything. I don't see any board members, no questions, but thanks.
No questions, just a comment that as we knew would be the case, we can feel the energy through the pictures and the slides and the videos that you shared with us. we can feel the positive energy that is filling Linwood under your leadership and under the leadership of some amazing educators that you've brought together. So congratulations. Can't wait to come and visit when the COVID situation has been put to rest. But thank you so much. I can't wait to see what this class looks like in a few years when they reach high school, and have been part of all the wonderful things you've put in motion. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. You know, this time next year, we'll be very close to JD. The board offices will be right next door.
Yeah.
Right in the same building. So,
That's right.
and we're on time and on schedule. Jay, you may be getting us a lot sooner than you think.
Hey, come on in. We're ready.
More often than you want.
Right.
Come
No.
on in.
We know it. We couldn't do it better. So thank you, Mr. Shorter. And you can stay and listen to the auditor as well. We're going to move on, Madam President. And thank you again, Mr. Shorter. I didn't see any further comments or questions. So I'm going to move on. I have to give a quick report, Mr. Stankiewicz. As required, our violence and vandalism report is required by each school district. And the reporting of period 1, 2021 school year, July 1, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. So let me just go to on the agenda on page 12, really 13, but on page 12, it starts, and I'm just going to go over the report as required. And here is the bottom of page 12. It talks about approving miscellaneous items, harassment, intimidation report. But B, I'm going to do this now, approve the following annual violence and vandalism report. And just want to show everyone, it's a unique year. 1 case, 11 cases as a compared to 216, 2 as compared to 9 this time last year. HIB training, which is great because we went up in training, and programs we went up in rather than, so they're the numbers we want to go up in. These are numbers that went down. We still monitor it. You think you heard Mr. Shorter talk about cyberbullying and issues and some vandalism. And this was the 1 case we did have some vandalism. So I'm happy to report the numbers are very, very low. But you would expect that being isolated and only having, we're just returned to school January 19th. And so the whole first quarter was a virtual year, but we still meet and we still have children together and we still deal with issues. And I'm happy to say the numbers are really, are down significantly, as you might expect. So we'll be approving that during the consent agenda, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention on page 12 and 13. And with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Stankiewicz. Mr. Stankiewicz, thank you for, I told you 7:20, so I missed it by 38 minutes. Here you go. So we just cut out 38 minutes of your 40-minute window. No, I'm just teasing. Mr. Stankiewicz, you are muted. Words I think I'm going to regret saying, we need to unmute you. No, just teasing, Jerry. You are on, and thank you for being here. You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted on your end.
There's a microphone at the bottom of your screen. It has a line through it. Click on it. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. You're on, Jerry.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And first of all,
I want everyone to know this is not our tech teacher, but our auditor, just in case.
The 2 prior presentations are very tough acts to follow. Okay. And all that is good news. I have good news for the board as well. My firm, we are the independent auditors of the district. We prepare and perform the independent financial audit of the district for the year ended June 30th, 2020. We are hired by the board to audit the financial records of the district as maintained in the business and finance office. The way it works is, and for the benefit of the newer people, and I know Gloria has heard this deliriously boring talk many times before, we're hired by the board. The management of the board presents us with their records, general ledgers, cash recs, invoices, payroll records, enrollment counts, get presented with the records. Our job, based on what they present to us, is to perform an audit on those records and to give an opinion to the board as to the condition of the records, as well as to verify the statement of financial position that the district has as of the end of the fiscal year. Our process starts usually in July, where we, do some preliminary work. We do some auditing of the student activity funds, rolls that into auditing of the enrollment counts. We then prepare our audit. And again, it's based on statistical and random samples where we audit different things. For example, we audit payroll, we'll audit expenditures, okay? We will audit revenue, we will audit the food service. We audit the DRTRS, District Board of Transported Resident Students. We audit the enrollment count, we audit the IEPs. So we do what's required of us by the Department of Education. A couple of things very important, and I know, again, my time is very limited. There's two documents that you were presented with. The thicker of the two is the comprehensive annual financial report of the district. It's really the property of the district's management office, okay? And the only thing inside of that belongs to me, to my firm, is our independent auditor's opinion, okay? And as I said, we're hired by the board to give an opinion, to do the audit. And inside there, we talk about the fact that, quite frankly, it's an unmodified opinion, okay? Meaning the records were presented properly, fairly. In the old days, it was called a clean opinion, an unqualified opinion. So inside of the thicker document, there contains a lot of information, financial information about the district itself, financial information about the township of North Brunswick itself. It's designed to give various people of interest, information relative to the district. Now, we recently had a refinancing, I believe it was last year, and prior to that, we refinanced, we pulled down new money in the bond market. Well, this document was read by investment people, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, to evaluate the district, okay? So a lot of information is contained in here. But like I said, the most important thing within here is our independent auditor's opinion, which again is an unmodified opinion. A lot of the schedules in here are information that we take from your business department and convert it into more readable financial information in accordance with the government accounting and auditing standards set up by the various organizations that we answer to, primarily the New Jersey Department of Ed. So how did we get to this good opinion? Number one, and most important, okay, your bank reconciliations. It's technical, but I'm trying to narrow it down so you can understand what I'm saying. Your bank reconciliations agree on a monthly basis to the penny to the general ledgers, okay? With regards to payroll, we run a sample of payroll. People are paid in accordance with board authorization. Their paperwork is on file, W-4s, I-9s, PERS information, New Jersey Department of Ed certifications, pension withholding, okay? All that's done properly. And again, that's done on a sample basis. Payroll agency, meaning the payroll withholdings, the withholdings are all paid over to the agencies, the government, state, the deferred comp agencies, all timely, all properly done. With regards to expenditures, again, I could give you a whole fancy long report, but four most important things. A, all expenditures are properly documented. B, they're properly coded with regards to the budgetary account. C, the accounts that are paid, the expenditures are properly cut off with regards to year end. So bills paid in July, August, September that relate to June 30th and prior are properly accounted for. And fourth, you're in compliance with the public school contracts law, meaning whatever we procure is done in accordance with the public school contracts, which requires us to either go to bid or to get quotations or to use cooperative purchasing agencies, which, by the way, are very, very prevalent in New Jersey. So all that information I just told you, we kind of explain in the thinner of the two documents, which is my representation to the board relative to compliance with all the items that I talked about: payroll, payroll agency, food service fund, expenditures, payroll, student activity funds. All that stuff is encapsulated in here. We found really no problems with any of it. We find that the people who are in the business office, the support staff, are very, very well qualified. They are also very concerned that they're doing a good job. They're very responsive when we ask questions, very responsive when we ask for information. We want to compliment Rosa, who I think this is her first time going through a full audit on her own. She was very cooperative. All the information that was given to us was proper. All the records were in balance. So at the end, we end up with an unmodified opinion, and we end up with no recommendations nor comments that require the board to adopt a plan of action. Okay, so to briefly review, again, I don't want to take up too much time, but I do have to point out, you have a food service operation, and that is actually on page, I don't even know my own reporting. If you go to page 38 and 39, and by the way, for all districts, as you well know, everything, it was a tough year. It was a tough year to get audits done as well because of limitations, distancing, closures, all that. Your food service operation, by the way, is around a 2.9, actually $3 million operation. Okay, and food service operation is subsidized by the government. We got about $1.9 million in subsidies for the meal counts and $950,000 of local money. It did experience a loss, okay, during the year of about $69,000. And, you know, on $3 million, that's not so bad. And we're still solvent, by the way. Different places have different situations. Some districts ended up with a profit. Some ended up with a big loss. A lot of it is COVID related. There's 3 other small funds that we maintain. They pretty much pay for themselves, but they're not at the magnitude of the food service operation. And I would also say too, the food service organization, Chartwell's, their people were very cooperative in providing us with the documentation for all of their expenditures, all of their payroll, okay, payroll time cards, all the meal count requirements, everything, meals, menus, all that stuff. They were very open and showed us everything that we needed to see to verify. One other item, quite frankly, if you turn to page, let's see. I don't want to, I'm burning too much time for you here. Page 112. 112, I mean, we have in the district a $120, $130 million operation, and it's all summarized on the C1 exhibits, which shows the revenue and the expenditures for the year in the main operating fund, okay? We started the year, and if you look at the actual column, at 6.483 million, and we ended the year at 8.87 million, okay? Now, it sounds like a lot of money, but I don't think it's that much considering the size of the budget, but also a lot of it is spoken for. For example, of the 8.7 million, 712,000 is the reserve for encumbrances. 4.4 million is capital reserve. 1.5 million is a maintenance reserve. The balance is your 2% ceiling that you're allowed to keep. Let's say we call it unassigned. In the old days, it was called free balance. So while it seems like a big number, okay, a lot of it is spoken for in that it's either restricted by the state or it is appropriated in the 2021 budget as a revenue source. For example, $1.3 million of capital reserve is appropriated in the 2021 budget. And from time to time, you've had to tap into that capital reserve to perform capital items, so in the end, I mean, all the financial data is on file. You have the financial report. There's also a lot of information in the notes to financial, which put a lot of people to sleep, but it contains information about how we're supposed to operate the district accounting wise. It talks about your pension. It talks about pension beyond retirement. It talks about health benefits beyond retirement. There's a lot of big numbers. It's a big district. You'll see information about TPAF in there. There's big numbers, but they're not the responsibility of the district. They're the responsibility of the state government for TPAF, Social Security, TPAF, medical, and TPAF pension. It's a rather large report. There's a lot of information in it. It could be very confusing. But I think if you look in the MD&A, the management discussion and analysis section, which is in the front, it kind of brings it all together in those 12 or 13 pages about the financial operation of the district for the year ended June 30th, 2020. And I've used all my 2 minutes. So in the end, I want to publicly thank the business office and the entire building on, was it Old George's Road or whatever the name of the road is? Yeah, everybody in there that we had dealt with on both floors, very cooperative, and they should be commended because the end product is what I'm presenting you with today. So.
Thank you, Jerry. Mr. Stankiewicz, before we have public comment as required on any of the audit presentation, I do want to say for the public and good of the audit, the board members, Mr. Stankiewicz met with Ms. Hawk, Dr. Fulkowski, and myself as required in an exit interview. He also met with the business operations, giving us his time at the business operations to give them a blush of what we were doing and how it was going in both reports. So I want to thank Mr. Stankiewicz for going above and beyond. And I do also want to thank our business office, all of our staff for cooperating and another successful year, making sure the public's money is not only analyzed and well spent, it's maintained and monitored properly. So we want to thank all those involved in that because we are so grateful for people who invest, the taxpayers who invest in public schools. And it's important to us, all of us, our mission to make sure that we make sure every nickel we receive is utilized properly and monitored correctly. So thank you again, Mr. Stankiewicz. I do want to open up to board members, and then we have to take public comments. Any board members, any comments, questions for Mr. Stankiewicz? Mr. Toro, I do not see anybody else on the, I do see a few people on our Zoom broadcast that could ask a question if they have a question only for the audit presentation. Can you check on YouTube if there's any questions or comments based on Mr. Stankiewicz's question, presentation? Thank you, Mr. Toro. Mr. Stankiewicz, I do not see any questions or comments. I see Miss James. Yes, Miss James, sorry. We can't hear you, Miss James. Maybe. There you go. We're starting to hear you now.
Okay, good. I just have a brief question just for my edification. So on page 11 and 12, I'm just curious about if there is a percentage of error, like how high of a percentage does that have to be for it to be a audit finding? For everything is less than 1%, which is wonderful. It seems that the district is in great shape. There's no recommendations. But is there a percentage that would cause a problem?
Within the industry, our job is to give an opinion on the financial statements as presented. Okay. Depends on what you're talking about now. If it involves transaction testing, the normal rate there is anything above 2% is unacceptable. Okay, but even if it is, it may not affect the opinion. We give an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. There's really no, it's really a gut thing. You know, you have internal information about a dollar amount of what it could be misstated or improperly stated, but we haven't had any errors. Okay.
Right. Okay. That's perfect.
So yeah, and you know, because I said everybody, and look, the transaction testing works out very well. Successful results from the transaction test then flow into a comfort level with the rest of the audit. Okay, with the rest of our processes. So, if there was anything more than 3% of errors all over the place, that would be shocking, but it would be something we would have to address.
Got it. Thank you.
And a lot of that relates to internal control testing. Okay, if we have errors. Let's say we looked at 50 invoices and there was 6 errors. In my world, that ain't good. Excuse my language, but I don't like that. We haven't had that problem there. Everyone there is very diligent about what they do.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. James. Any other board member or any other comments? Seeing none, I'm going to share my screen, Madam President, again. And we do need, number 8, a motion to close the public portion for the audit presentation?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
This portion of the presentation is, the public portion is closed.
Thank you. Madam President, we do need number 9 to accept the CAFR, this Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for the district fiscal year 20, and the management report.
Thank you. Mr. Liguori, you want to take it?
Yeah, I can take it,
Thank you.
President. Sure. I'd like to make a motion to accept the comprehensive annual financial report for the school district of North Brunswick Township for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, and the accompanying auditor's management report on administrative findings, financial compliance and performance, also for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020. This also includes the system peer review report conducted on Samuel Klein Company.
Second.
I'm sorry, is that Mr. Liguori?
Mr. Liguori,
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Both reports are accepted.
thank you. Moving on, and I just want to say, if Mr. Stankwitz, once again, thank you. Jerry, I know you have to go, and I appreciate you staying on a little extra longer as we had a.
It's not a problem. It's all part of the job. And
Thank you, Jerry.
I want to thank everyone and good evening. I mean, I followed 2 great reports, so it's difficult.
We appreciate yours, though, in all seriousness, so we
Okay.
thank you.
And my feelings won't be hurt if you knock me off the,
No, you
thing,
can
okay?
leave on, you can leave on your own, but you're welcome to stay, but you can leave on your own.
I
as
got to
well.
figure out how to do that now.
That's why, Jerry, that's why I said you are our auditor, not our tech teacher, which I wanted to make sure.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
We need number 10, Madam President.
Yes, sir. Ms. James, would you mind taking that, please?
Sure. I move to approve the following board minutes: a conference and regular public Zoom meeting from January 27th, 2021, and the executive meeting minutes from January 27th, 2021.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
He's there. I see him. Mr. Brockman?
Yeah, sorry.
oh, that's okay. Thank you. Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The minutes are all accepted.
Thank you, Madam President.
Do you have any communications today?
Not this evening, Madam President.
How about our students?
Well, we're going to go into reports if you don't mind, Madam
Okay,
President.
no problem.
I'll incorporate old and new business within the administrative report. And I can't wait to get to the student report as well. But I'll be able to start things off. And thank you for your patience. We had a lot of very good presentations tonight. But I'm excited to keep announcing, and Ms. Shiroka for doing all our work, getting our kindergarten registration, our virtual registration out. I do want to announce to the community, I'm announcing in the morning, it's on our website, it's on our app, with our tweet. We tweet it out in our strategic app. John Adams, kindergarten registration, March 1. Can you believe next Monday's March 1st to March 5th, kindergarten registration. Judd, March 8th to the 12th, March 15th to the 19th, LP. And Parsons, March 22nd to March 26th. Go online. There's a link there, but we also have a number on our website to please reach out, give us a call if you're not sure with what day you can go. We have, what area you live in. We'll certainly guide you through registration. This year, our registration was down for kindergarten with many students. We're staying home and parents were putting them in different environments. But remember, you have to be 5 before October 1st. That's our policy, 5 before October 1st. If you're not 5, sign up for in May, we'll have our free full-day pre-K program that's expanding, and we'll be finishing up the new ECC over at Linwood, where Mr. Shorter is. So we're excited about the additional seats. So again, you'll hear more about it in May, but please sign up for kindergarten registration virtually. Must be 5 by October 1st. I do want to congratulate the Mbths athletic accomplishments, as it was a common theme tonight. We went with our football, but I do want to say our girls basketball team is off and running this spring season, following all the protocols, doing a great job. We honored them because their coach, Mark Zielinski, had his 100th win in 3rd all-time wins in the girls program. They are the GMC division champions. They're 9-1 or 10-1, have an outstanding season. What a great group of young ladies. We're so proud of them. Congratulations, coach, with your 100th win. And Darcy Frusheim, what a great article. Did you read it in the Star Ledger? And then, of course, NJ.com. She had a career high bowling 651. She's going to bowl in college next year. What a great job leading our girls bowling team, senior Darcy Frusheim. And talking about Darcy in the same sentence with the outstanding all-state performers, Keglers, in the state of New Jersey. So congratulations, Darcy, for representing us. And I do want to say, I want to thank the families. If you remember, the governor had an executive order that suddenly, on the dime, said fans can go. And it's 2 per student. And you can't violate social distance, and you can't have more than 150 in a gym. Counting the team, counting the referees, counting the scorekeepers, counting the cheerleaders. We did it. We did it well because the families cooperated. All the families come at once. We vacate the gym for the next game, the JV or whatever it may be. Thank you, families. We have a little bit ways to go, but thank you for setting that standard of excellence in terms of comportment and sportsmanship, watching our student athletes perform. It's just been terrific. On Saturday, I do want to report what a great opportunity for our students to take advantage of a situation where they couldn't go out. Here's what I'm talking about. Our Model UN. Our Model UN, typically, we've been hosting a statewide conference. But because it was COVID and we had to be virtual, our Model UN, we had students from China. We had students from California, Florida, Bolivia. So, and a keynote speaker, Mr. David McCall, he was a communication specialist for the UN. What a great speech. I was fortunate enough to get on and listen to it. And this was all driven by our Model UN program, our students, our club. And Dhruv Shah, he's a Secretary General. He did a wonderful job spearheading it, the leader of our club. I want to thank Ms. Nunez and Mr. Schmoles for being our advisors to this. Congratulations. What a great program. And our freeholder, well, it used to be freeholder. Now they're, Mr. Liguori, what do they call the freeholder?
County commissioners.
County commissioners. Sante Nara, she often speaks of her time at North Brunswick and how it led to this love and her time with the UN, Model UN Club, to spear her to a greater lens and thought process to become an attorney and involving government. So we're proud of our students. So it goes beyond just athletics, so many things going on, and such great work and ingenuity being used by our students to make the best of this COVID environment. And speaking of COVID environment, we are still testing. We have free testing, not only for our staff and students, their families, board members, your family, and our community. We also have a grant. If you don't have health benefits, you don't have coverage. I see Miss Engel on. Miss Engel, we're trying to get as many people out to take advantage. We will not charge you. There will be no charge if you don't have benefits. We have programs to work together, so there's no charge. Has not been utilized as much, but people have been taking advantage. We recently signed a letter to the governor asking him to allow North Brunswick to be a hub of vaccination site. I know, Mr. Liguori, you may want to report out on a letter that you were thinking about from school boards to endorse by the Board of Ed about vaccinations. I don't know if you're prepared to do that tonight or I know you were talking about it, but if you're not, we signed a letter on behalf of the North Brunswick Township Board asking Governor Murphy in full cooperation that if teachers and staff are essential employees, we're behind them. We will do it. We're used to doing this type of work for the masses, and we will get it out and expedite it, no problem. So, so Governor Murphy, North Brunswick is an ally. We want to help do our part. We've been doing it with COVID testing. Our staff has been terrific coming back. Our board has been given me the directive to work with our staff to ensure that children and families have a choice to be virtual or back in school. I do want to update. Our grab and go has been outstanding. We've been averaging more than 15,000 grab and goes per week. It's been outstanding. It's been a benefit to our families. Remember, our grab and go is not only for students in school, but any family who is virtual can go to one of 5 sites: Livingston Park, John Adams, Parsons, the new middle school, or the high school, 9 to 12:30. Today we had nearly 4,600, and Friday will be our next day for grab and go provisions for Friday and through the weekend. Please take advantage of it. And last but not least, Madam President, I know I went on with my report, but I did want to share with everyone. On our agenda tonight is the calendar for school year 21-22 and school year 22-23. Why do we do that? Why is it? It's very basic calendar, following our same tradition calendar, but it has only 2 snow days in it as opposed to 3. Why do we do it that way? We're hoping the governor continues the ability when there's a dangerous weather, we can go virtual. So we're hoping the board will approve it. It's been looked at and examined by our staff, our teachers association, or our staff association, our administrative association. And so we're hoping to give everyone 2 years of planning as we go back to normal. And last in my report, I know I saw some people tomorrow. You heard us. We lost one of our here, and you heard Mr. Stankiewicz talk about all the contributions of this business office. We lost someone to COVID, a wonderful, wonderful longtime worker in our accounts payable, Ms. Donna Gralick. I announced it on our show, our broadcast in the morning with the mayor, and several times. Tomorrow is her wake at Sillovers, 4 to 8. We just want to say thank you to Donna and her family for their contributions. And I did check with the family. They were more than appreciative for making this announcement. So again, we just want to say, our condolences again to the Gralick family, and they really suffered a tragic. All of us have been impacted by this loss of Miss Gralick. So with that, Madam President, I'm sorry to end on that note, but Donna deserves it. Her family deserves it. I wanted to turn this over to committee reports.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any old business?
No, committee reports, Madam President.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Committee reports. Any committee reports this evening?
Sure, Madam President, I'd like to give a report for the Community Relations Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Toth.
So the Community Relations Committee met earlier this month on Wednesday, February 10th. All of our members were in attendance, and we spoke actually some of the things that Dr. Z had previously mentioned, but we'll touch upon some of them again. We were updated about the grab and go lunch grab and goes. We are averaging over 15,000 each week. This happens on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it will continue through June, something we're really proud of. We also discussed the community and staff testing in district that Dr. Z had mentioned. We definitely want as many people to take advantage of this as possible. We also spoke about the middle school athletic broadcast and the high school athletic broadcasting. The middle school and the high school have sports channels. All of our sports are being broadcasted on there for parents and community members to see the kids play. We also spoke about the letter that we sent to the governor's office. We also spoke about the community broadcasting that Dr. Z has every day. We spoke about specifically kindergarten registration, pre-K registration, and mental health awareness during the pandemic. Also coming up this spring, the middle school will be looking to do a virtual middle school career fair, which we spoke about. Again, they're working to do this spring, and they are working with the guidance counselors to see what we could do in regard to planning something like this, and also thinking about bringing representatives from the town in for something like this as well. And then lastly, we spoke about niche. We got a year-to-date update from Miss Rumbo. We had 14,000 page views, which is something that we're really proud of. Over 2,000 engagement clicks. We had our most often clicks on our niche page was exploring our programs and also the pre-K expansion, which is something that we're really proud of as well. We are looking to link that sports broadcasting update that I was just speaking about before on niche, and that should be active sometime this month. So that covers everything from the meeting, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
Madam President, I'd like to report out on 2 committee meetings. The curriculum committee met on February 17th, and we were provided a presentation by our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Janet Shiroka. She reported out that the district will be replacing everyday math with Mbchs 2020, which will be a new math program for our K-5 in the district. And though there are many benefits to implementing this program, I'll just highlight just a few for the sake of time. One which stood out with me was the development of a broader skill set, which will help the students establish a stronger foundation in math. The second being that the curriculum will be problem-based learning, which will provoke a higher thought process. And then lastly, the curriculum will have more focus on the practical use of it, as opposed to just theory. The students will actually be able to see how math is applicable to their life. It's one of the things that I think has been very well documented and highlighted is that a lot of students, as they progress in math, they began to question, well, why do we need to learn this? And when are we going to use this? Why is this necessary? So hopefully the implementation of Mbchs 2020 will remove some of those questions and help our students develop an even stronger foundation in math. Ms. Shiroka also gave a individual school report that included the number of children that have been attending school in person during the pandemic, as well as a percentage of students that have decided to, or a percentage of families that have decided to keep their children at home during the pandemic. So that ends my curriculum report, and I would like to move to policy and legislation. The policy committee met on February the 17th as well. And during that meeting, we discussed there are several new policies that I'll go over. One being the board member resignation and removal bylaw. So this will be revisions made to this, as well as the policy 1643, which is pertaining to the family sick leave. And then we have policy 2415, which is Every Student Succeeds Act, which will be new. We also have policy and regulation for 2415.20, which is Every Student Succeed Acts and Complaints. And then we have policy and regulation 7425, which is for lead testing of water in the schools. And then finally, we have policy 2415.02, which is pertaining to Title I and fiscal responsibility. So those are being presented this evening for the first reading. We also have on tonight's agenda approval for the abolishment of some other policies. Policy 3431.1, which is a Family Leave Act. And before I go any further, even though these policies are on the agenda to be abolished, it does not mean that there is not a policy in place to replace the one being abolished. So I just want to stress that fact. Policy 3431.3, which is the New Jersey Leave Insurance Program. And then we have policy 4431.1, which is another version of the Family Leave Act. And then we have policy 4431.3, which is the New Jersey Leave Insurance Program, and policy 2415.01, which is the Academic Standard, Academic Assessments and Accountability. And then lastly, the policy that we have on our list to be abolished is policy 2415.03, which is pertaining to highly qualified teachers. And then we have one policy that requires special attention. And this policy is on the agenda for approval after one reading as opposed to two. And this is to move that the Board of Education suspend bylaw 0131 that requires two readings to adapt a bylaw or policy and adapt a bylaw, which is 0164.6, which refers to remote public board meetings during a declared emergency with one reading to be in compliance with the new emergency regulations regarding remote meetings held during a governor declared emergency. So I separated that one because it was very important that we highlight the fact that this is on the agenda to be approved after one reading as opposed to two, so that we can be in compliance with the emergency regulations. Madam President, that ends my Policy and Legislation Committee report.
Thank you, sir. Any other reports this evening?
Madam President, the Student Services Committee met on February 10th. We discussed the calendars that are on the agenda for approval tonight. Took a preliminary look at them. We also updated the in-person attendance totals, which are doing better day by day, increasing. The numbers are increasing, so that's good to see. We also talked about transportation, and transportation numbers are light, but seems to be working well so far. Doesn't seem to be any concerns there. Some of the buses have very limited amount of kids, but they are social distancing properly, and doesn't appear to have any problems on that end. And then we talked about some winter athletics. The boys freshman team was coming back for basketball. There have been a few cancellations. Obviously, this is the same trend we saw in the fall with some other schools canceling out and for various reasons. So we're experiencing that. The swimming team and track team, as of the 10th, had just started practicing. They needed a couple practices before they were able to compete. I did see yesterday that there was a swim meet against Bishop R, so that looks like it's into competitive season now. They got their practices that were required, and as of March 1st, wrestling is supposed to come back. We'll see how that works out, and if the NJSIA changes anything or gives us more guidelines. Volleyball and gymnastics, which we don't have gymnastics, but volleyball, which is supposed to be a fall sport, is going to start up March 1st in that change from the fall because of the indoor. And then we had some discussions about ESY, extended school year. Going to be 30 days this summer, 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. There's about 40 teachers involved in it for the students that require it. And, it'll be a virtual platform again. As of right now, it'll still be a virtual platform like it was last summer. Mm-hmm. If things change, we'll keep everybody abreast of it. But for now, we feel it'll stay as a virtual thing. That completes my report for the February 10th
Thank you, Mr.
meeting.
Bruckman. Thank you. Any other reports this evening?
Madam President, I can give a Business Operations Committee report.
Please. Thank you.
The Business Operations Committee met on Wednesday, February 17th. Among the items that we discussed, we began by discussing solar, specifically first the roof work at the high school and how we will opt to stay with our traditional, consistent, methodical way of using our capital reserves to fund any remaining roof work at the high school. We discussed again, I think we discussed last month, how there was an opportunity to do some solar work at the new middle school. The grid has been amended due to the new senior housing project that the Kaplan companies are building along Route 130. So we're at a point where we're trying to determine the proper way to go about doing this, whether it's to amend the current contract to include the middle school or to seek out a new third-party arrangement. So more to come on this opportunity. We discussed the auxiliary gym project and the Mercury. We have the prices and the bids. We're just awaiting final approval from our insurance company at this point. So the work will still happen. We're just waiting for all those approvals to come through. We had a discussion on the Linwood Phase 2 update. Mr. Campizano joined us, and we're at the point where we've completed about $4.5 million of the $4.8 million that we budgeted for Phase 2. So we're making excellent and timely progress on this project. The finishes are going in, the ceilings are going in, and the only reason that the ceilings can go in is because we had inspections for everything above the ceilings where we were able to complete those successfully. I would draw your attention to change order number 2 on tonight's agenda. It's found on page 16, item Z. It totals $41,404. The agenda breaks it out into its 3 parts. It's roughly $22,000 for new gypsum over the sheetrock in our 4 modular classrooms. We couldn't paint over some old stuff. About $9,800 for the modification of the exterior stairs at the soon-to-be new Board of Ed entrance due to years of settling. And then about another $9,200 for additional rebar and trenching required in the multipurpose room. We had as Dr. Z indicated, we had a discussion with Jerry Stankiewicz from Samuel Klein. He gave us the Reader's Digest version of what you heard tonight. The audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, completed with an unmodified, clean opinion. No comments, no recommendations. He indicated that the records presented accurately portrayed the position of the district's finances. He got into lots of detail with us about all the kinds of testing that he had done that led to the modified opinion, which included payroll and benefits, expenses, proper cutoffs, public school contracts law, state aid, bank reconciliations, food service, all of which you heard about this evening. I have to say, as I say every year, a huge thank you to everyone involved, especially Rosa, everyone in the business office, and Dr. Z for their cooperation throughout the audit process, for their year-round fiscal leadership that leads to these successful audits every year. It didn't used to always be this way in North Brunswick schools. When I first got on the board in 2007, there were several audit recommendations. It hasn't been that way in quite some time. And the fact that we've got a business office that's on top of things and a superintendent that really knows school finances truly helps. So we're very indebted for your day-to-day, and thank you very much for that. We also briefly discussed the fact that we didn't have much to update on our budget update, specifically as it pertains to funding. The governor did give his budget address yesterday, and we're eagerly anticipating the district level increases, hopefully for towns like ours. Governor Murphy has promised additional funding over last year's total in his budget address. And we should find out again as early as tomorrow what those numbers will be for our new budget season. And just under the good of the order, I want to say thank you to our buildings and grounds crew. We've had a ridiculous winter when it comes to snow, and they've just done outstanding work with all the recent snowstorms. So on behalf of our committee, which oversees facilities, we just want to say thank you very much. That would conclude our report.
Thank you. And I second that suggestion, that thank you to our staff for the cleanup of all of our properties. All right. Any other reports tonight?
Yes, Madam President, I have the personnel report.
Yes, Ms. James, please.
So good evening to the board and to North Brunswick community, Dr. Z. The Personnel Committee met on Wednesday, February 17th, and discussed resignations of some stipend positions. Some replacements have been designated already. I believe 3 are reflected on tonight's agenda, and others will be designated in the near future. We also discussed some leaves of absences that would be taken, the appointment of 3 long-term substitute teachers, the appointment of interim administrators pending state approval and background clearances, the appointment of 1 certified and 2 non-certified staff, the approval of 8 daily substitute teachers and 1 substitute custodian. We acknowledge the submission of proof of additional credits and advanced degrees of 5 of our teaching personnel, and congratulations to them on those accomplishments. We also discussed the approval of Mbchs coaches for the 2021 school year, along with a volunteer coach. And we talked about the approval of grant-funded salaries on a prorated basis, and the approval of a sidebar agreement between the board and the Education Association to update the minimum wage. To those who are joining the district in any capacity, either full-time, part-time, per diem, or interim, we welcome you and we look forward to the good work that you will do. At the appropriate time, the board will move to take action on those items on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam President, I'd like to report out on the negotiations team. The negotiations committee met on Tuesday, February 23rd regarding our negotiations with our administrative union. And we also discussed the sidebar agreement that Ms. James just referenced, which is on the agenda for approval this evening. That concludes the negotiations report.
Thank you. Any other reports this evening? If not, how about our?
Yes, Madam President, yes.
Yes, sir.
We do. Y'all, thank you for our students been hanging in there.
Reports, yes.
Yes, and you know what, maybe we could go back to the drawing board and move our student reports earlier.
To the first report.
You've been a good sport. Thank you. I know you're busy with schoolwork, all y'all, but you are up. We look forward to our student report most of all.
Okay, so Nbths participated in our Winter Pep Week, and students and staff participated in Spirit Days, culminating in our release of our Winter Pep Rally, honoring our winter athletes. The classes compete for the Spirit Cup, and with the juniors winning for the second time this year. And SGO has raised the necessary funds for the SGO charity, the Thirst Project. We are donating $8,000 to build a well in Uganda, and we're going to be currently in the process of being matched with a community in Uganda that needs a freshwater well.
Awesome.
On Friday, February 26th, Nbths will hold the 36th annual Rockathon. It will be virtual this year, but there are plenty of activities planned for our student rockers. This year, the Rockathon will raise money for the North Brunswick Food Bank. And as you mentioned before, the Mall UN hosted a conference on February 20th. The conference had delegates from various states and even Bolivia participating. They were fortunate to have Mr. David McHale as their keynote speaker. Mr. McHale works as a communication specialist at the UN Capital Development Fund. The Alchemist Theater Company is having their virtual theater review, and their event will release this Friday on the 26th. And lastly, the Black Cultural Alliance is helping Mbchs celebrate Black History Month. Each day during morning announcement, quotes and facts are about famous African Americans are announced. And this week, Mbchs is having their first Black History Spirit Week, leading up to an extended homeroom event on Friday and Black History Month virtual programming that evening.
Thank you, Oja. Sorry I took away the UN Model UN, but I was so impressed. I wanted to report out, so I didn't mean to take away your thunder. Great report. How is everything going? Are the Spirit Weeks being received very well for our students?
Yeah, everyone seems to be enjoying Spirit Week, and I find it really interesting that we're having our first Black History Spirit Week. So it's like a great improvement considering previous years, and especially with the whole situation.
Well, you know what I love about that Mr. Neller report, that came from I like to say organically, from our students. They suggested, they pushed for it. So congratulations on that. It's a long time coming. And do you know why February is Black History Month?
No, I actually do not know why.
Well, the history of it was there was a African American History Week, and the founders wanted to celebrate a month that had Abraham Lincoln and I'm going to forget. Oh my God, Frederick Douglass' birthday in the month, and that's why February was selected. So we've been doing that on our broadcast in the morning, highlighting the great contributions. But I'm so happy the students are pushing for this because it's a long time coming. And so I look forward to hearing more about and we all look forward to hearing about the Black History Month rally and spirit. So it certainly speaks volumes that our students are doing so much to bring awareness to our diversity within our district. So thank you, Ojal. Sarah Williams, what happened? We don't see her. Is she? We miss her here. What happened?
Unfortunately, she's a little busy this evening. She
Yeah.
has a few other things going on, so I thought I'd step in and help out.
Well, thank you for stepping in, and make sure you give Sarah a message that we certainly look forward to seeing her soon, and stay
Yes.
well. I'll open the board. Any question from the board to our student?
Not a question, just a statement. We will be sure to move your presentation up to the top of the line for our reports going forward.
No, I actually didn't mind seeing the Linwood presentation. It was actually nostalgic seeing all the pictures because it's been a few years since I've seen the building, so I enjoyed the presentation.
Wow, thank you. What about the audit? Did you enjoy the audit presentation? Just curious.
I'm actually going into finance, so
Oh,
it's
okay. Well,
like,
anytime you want to interview about the management report or audit, I'll be glad to give it to you. You know, it's both are public documents, can be found online in the DOE website. So that's great. I'm glad you found
definitely
it.
in a few years. Not right
Okay.
now, but in a few years.
Can I ask you what do you think about my report? Anything? No? Good?
Yes, I like seeing everything that's happening with the school. I
Okay,
mean, it's
good.
different.
You're the best. Look at, the positive spirit, even at 9 o'clock at night. Thank you so much.
Doc, you gotta tell Jerry how much attention he was able to
Yeah,
get.
I know. He usually doesn't get that. He usually doesn't get that. That's great. You know what? If Ojal would have told him she was in finance, he would have hired her. Trust me, he would have hired her on the spot. So
Eventually.
yes, thank you so much. And we're going to move, Madam
Can I
President.
have a motion to approve the administrative committee and student reports, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Brockman.
I'm sorry, who was second?
Mr. Brooks.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes,
The reports are all accepted.
thank you.
All right. So I have to do a little bit of work we always have a quick review because we have a consent agenda. And before we have the consent agenda, we do a quick review and then public sessions on agenda item only. So Madam President, with your permission, I'm going to start scrolling. I know everyone has the agenda, but it's always good practice to go quickly if anybody has any questions or concerns about anything on the agenda. So I'm going to start off with personnel actions as reported by Ms. James. I'll keep moving until if anybody asks me to stop, I know you have it in front of you. Ooh, let me just reduce that so you can see the names. Okay, there we go. And then here's our substitute list. Additional stipends as per contracts. Degree changes as mentioned by Ms. James. And then thank you, Ms. James, for recognizing and saying thank you. They'll be it is a lot of work and then they'll be appreciative of that shout out. Our subject area leader, our new coaches that we had to make changes. And so here's the spring coaches. Our volunteer coach. Should be noted, our volunteer coaches go through the same process as a paid coach. They have to be go through a criminal history, fingerprinting, and also the AED training and first aid. And then here's this, so I'll come back. This is our grant. Thank you, Miss Rumbo, for getting this in. You can see we get grant monies paying, and so it has to be appropriated to the percentage and penny. And then this is the sidebar, and we talked about the updating of minimum wage because we had a few employees we had paid less. We had to update it, even though we all agreed to do it. It's federally driven. We still have to update our contract. You can't update it without a sidebar agreement. And then we start going into our workshops. And you'll see asterisks for grant funded. P is the preschool education grant. And so I think it's preschool expansion, but we call it preschool grant and our Title II-A fund. And then I just want to make their virtual student placements here. They do not enter the school. Ms. Shiroka makes sure we still want to work with Rutgers and others, but they have to come on virtually because we're not letting student teachers in the school. So I want parents to know if they see this on here. So we have our design approved purchases. This is for our new Board of Ed building. We purchased the technology on our own, and we although it's all part of the referendum and the building project, we get more bang for our buck by going out to purchasing and going to certain contractors rather than letting contractors who take the bid to build it buy the necessary equipment. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve or pay for. So school calendar, as Mr. Brockman mentioned, 21-22. Can't believe 21-22 and worse for all those getting old like me, 22-23. So it's scary. Seems like, should be some science fiction year. And then we have my superintendent report, which I gave. You can see the numbers as mentioned during the harassment and bullying, the HIB report out. Our programs, which we increased, we list them. It's all been sent to the state. And then our financial bills. One thing Mr. Stankwitz might have said, but I missed it, but he said it during the exit interview and during our committee that we tie out to the penny. They check our financials tied out to the penny. Again, thank you to Ms. Hawk and her team. And then we have here our various miscellaneous, some purchases. And you can see the co-ops and the, where it was bid, where it was purchased from, grant funding purchases. Our Chromebooks, licensing, this is the grant funded. I'll keep moving. We're almost there, folks. Our E-rate contract, E-rate, we receive a 60% reimbursement of qualified updating and technology. And here's where Mr. Brooks was talking about. This first motion covers a one reading so we could get the new bylaw in place for our governor's declared emergency, because our bylaw 10131 talks about two readings. Here, only for this bylaw 0164.6 will we have one reading. Here's the first readings for other policy regulations. And when they're not new, they're mandatorily required to update. And here's the obsolete policies that they replace. So that's why we are removing them. Transportation contracts as required. Here's our routes. And then we just get to public session. So, Madam President, that's under review. Before we get to consent agenda, we have to open up for agenda items only. On number 15, we just did the review, agenda items only. I'm going to share the screen to see if I see any questions for agenda item only, and ask Mr. Turo, the man, the genius behind the curtain who's doing the YouTube. Mr. Turo, do you see anything on YouTube, audience, or with questions or comments about agenda items only? Oh. Okay, so with that, Madam President, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and the agenda for any public that may be viewing. And so we need a motion actually to close the public portion of the agenda for agenda items only. So it's number 16.
I'll take it. I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
For agenda items only, I'm sorry.
For agenda items only.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris, Ms. James,
Uh-oh.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
and Ms. James.
Yes.
Okay, we got a yes. I did
Thank you
hear.
very much.
Thank you.
Yes, we've closed this portion of the meeting then, this public portion.
Number 17, Madam President.
Mr. Liguori, would you take this one?
Sure. Thank you, Madam President. I'll move to approve the following consent agenda items as we just recently reviewed: personnel, curriculum, miscellaneous, finance items 1 through 5, policy, and transportation.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
All of these items have been approved, have been passed.
Thank you, Board and Ms. Hawk. So now I know people, this is the opportunity, we do it on purpose, 2 sessions of public comment. Now it's time for a board, anybody who wants to come before the board on any item to bring before the board and comment, whether it's agenda or other issues. And I will again defer to Mr. Toro. Give us a couple minutes to check out Mr. Toro. If you see anything on YouTube, the way we work in our public meeting, it gets relayed back to us, and either on Zoom or YouTube.
And we should remind everybody that if they do have any questions or comments, we ask that they limit their time to 3 minutes in order to allow others to also participate.
Thank you, Mr. Toro. I do appreciate, I did not see anything on our Zoom meeting. So Madam President, we're going to go back to sharing the screen, and we need number 18.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Second.
Oh, Ms. James, I'm going to give you that one. I think I heard you.
She got the B. I heard her too. She got the
Okay, great. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris, Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Public session is closed.
Madam President, there's always, we had a long meeting, but we do need some legal matters, attorney-client privilege discussions to go in closed session. So we need someone to make the motion and read our motion to go in closed session.
I can take that.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. A
Second.
motion-
No,
Thank you.
no, we're number 19.
19. Motion to go into closed session where Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussions of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: legal matters, attorney-client privilege. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. May I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We'll be able to go into close now.
Yes, so Ms. Hawk,
Emails.
did you send everyone the closed session?
Yes.
I'm going to turn this over, include Ms. Rumbo, please, Mr. Bush as well. Can you, Mr. Churro, I'm going to make you the host of this meeting so we could come back. So we do need, Ms. Hawk, did you send out the closed session?
Yes, I sent it out.
A motion to go back to return to open session, Madam President.
I'd like to make a motion to go back into open session.
Second.
Rosa, roll call. You're muted.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who the second person was. I'm sorry.
I believe it was Ms. Keefe.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
He's joining us now, so just he'll be right with us.
Okay, sure. Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez,
Yes.
and Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
We are back in session.
Okay. Mr. Liguori,
Liguori back?
yeah, he's back.
Yep.
He's-
Would you like me to read the resolution, Madam President?
Yes, please.
So this is a resolution requesting Governor Murphy to include public school district personnel in the official expert vaccine allotment panel's definition of frontline workers. And it reads, whereas the North Brunswick Township Board of Education recognizes that the United States, the state of New Jersey, and local health authorities, as well as the World Health Organization, have declared a public health emergency regarding the coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the federal and state authorities have put in place guidance detailing the precautionary measures schools must implement to stop its spread of this disease. And whereas public schools have a profound impact on millions of students, families, and staff, and are charged with the care, education, nourishment of their students, and are an integral part of the health and safety of our communities. And whereas our district has responded to the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, providing students and staff members with the technology and resources necessary to ensure the efficient delivery of instruction virtually and in person. And whereas the board has a substantial public interest in protecting the health and safety of its students, staff, and community, and ensuring that the district can provide staff and students with a safe and effective educational environment that supports student achievement. And whereas the board recognizes that this health emergency made it necessary to close schools and reinvent the educational programs in a virtual setting, and that this may have an adverse impact on student achievement and the emotional and social well-being of students. And whereas the COVID-19 vaccination plan published by the State of New Jersey Department of Health, December 15th, 2020, on pages 36 and 37, prioritizes the availability of vaccines to, quote, essential workers, end quote, in phase 1B of the vaccine protocol. And whereas school district staff at all levels are essential to the day-to-day operations of this district, responsible for the thorough and efficient education of all students and their social and emotional well-being, and are critical for virtual and in-class instruction and are essential workers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Brunswick Township Board of Education finds a substantial public purpose exists to request that Governor Murphy give appropriate priority in the statewide administration of the COVID-19 vaccine to all public school district personnel. The COVID-19 vaccination plan published by the State of New Jersey Department of Health is included in this resolution. It has a link address to nj.gov/health/legal/COVID-19, and there's a PDF titled New Jersey Interim COVID-19 Vaccination Plan Revised 2012-15-20.pdf. And it further resolves that a copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to Senator Bob Smith, Assemblyman Joseph Egan, Assemblyman Joe Danielson, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, Senate President Stephen Sweeney, Governor Phil Murphy, and to the New Jersey School Boards Association.
We need a motion and a second to accept it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution as read by Mr. Liguori.
Second.
Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris,
Yes.
Ms. James,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Ms. Toth,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The resolution was accepted.
Thank you, everyone. I don't know, Michael, if we have anybody left on YouTube. I want to thank everyone. And thank Ms. Engel, all your work, amazing working with our staff. Continue to do all the contact tracing. Thank you for keeping us safe. I do want to say all we have left is a motion to be adjourned. Thank you for a long evening. I appreciate everyone's focus tonight.
All right. Have a good night.
No, we got to need a motion in a second.
Oh.
We can't let you go too soon. Sorry, we're have it official. Have it official. Motion in a second to adjourn.
Madam President, I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Second.
Oh, wait a minute. Who hit the buzzer first? I think it was Mr. Brockman. I'm going to give Mr. Brockman.
I think we got to give that one to Tony because he was out already.
Okay.
5 minutes
All
ago.
right, we got it. Here we go. Mr. Brockman.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Mr. Duran Harris.
Yes.
Miss James.
Yes.
Miss Keefe.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Okay, yep.
Mr. Liguori.
Yes.
Ms. Toth.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Everyone, thank you so much. Be safe out. Please be safe.
Good night.
Take care. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.